Hello everybody, Septa here, and in today's video I'm going to be platinuming Spider-Man Miles Morales, the second game in the Spider-Man game trilogy. I really quite enjoy these games, so if you guys want to see Spider-Man 2's platinum trophy, drop some likes. I don't know if I'll do a like goal, but if this video gets some likes, I will be platinuming that game, and without further ado, let's get right into it. The game starts with Miles kind of trying out combat as his powers had just recently awakened, and him and Peter are going to escort Rhino, who was being moved from prisons, and this goes wrong as Miles accidentally lets him and a bunch of other prisoners out. So here we learn the basic mechanics of the game, but soon we go to the kind of boss fight portion of the game where we bring Rhino to the mall. There is a missable trophy here where we have to hit into 15 different things, but this is quite easy, and here's the trophy for doing that. Also soon, like really soon, we get another trophy for completing this whole mall segment, being Rhino Rodeo. After this, it's time to actually go ahead and fight Rhino. Now, he kind of beats up Peter, so we get to find out what makes Miles truly unique, being his bioelectric powers. Basically, he has something with him that just lets him produce electricity with his body. Later, we get other powers, like him being invisible, but that fight was pretty easy as Rhino is very vulnerable to those attacks. But basically afterwards, Peter tells Miles that he's going to be gone, so Miles is the sole protector of the city. In the next mission, Peter gives Miles a gift, which is actually a new suit, and we get the trophy, a gift from Pete, for completing this very easy mission. The next mission after this brings a kind of key collectible to the game. Basically, these are the training simulations that Peter lays out for Miles. There's lots of these to do, and for doing each one, we can get a trophy for doing it at a certain level. But here I decided to farm up the 100 combo trophy for the 100x combo trophy. I also decided to quickly get the photography trophy, which we basically just had to take a photo and then put a sticker on. Very easy trophy that I decided to just get out of the way. For the trophy, JJJ would be proud. After nabbing those trophies, I decided to stay with the story and actually just keep doing missions. This train one we did with Miles' uncle. Now, this one by far was my least favorite mission in the game as it was so boring, but this mission does grant us a trophy. We don't find out too much lore yet, but Miles' uncle will come up later in the story. This mission was just a lot of different puzzles, and I'm not the best at puzzles, so I will admit it's kind of my fault that the mission sucks, but nevertheless, I don't care for it that much. But we do get a trophy from it, as I previously mentioned, and here's that trophy popping. After this mission, I decided to upgrade Miles. The first thing I did was get him a suit mod for another trophy. These suit mods were needed for a later trophy, which I'll talk about later, but here we get the mod that suit trophy, and very shortly after I get a visor mod, just to get another trophy, look with better eyes. Still continuing with the story, a kind of criminal gang known as the Underground decided to steal the Roxxon, which is this evil corporation. I don't know if they were in the first game or not, but basically they want to put dangerous, poisonous generators around, and the Underground doesn't want that, so they went off to steal the generator, but it caused an explosion, and we had to save a bunch of civilians from this bridge. I don't know if Spider-Man does it in the movies, but he hits the same pose that Toby does with the train. And honestly, it was a super cool and aura-filled moment, and we do get a trophy from this mission, being hanging by a thread. And in the next mission, we also get a trophy from just completing the mission. Honestly, almost all of the missions in this game give a trophy. This one we get some lore into, well, we don't know this yet, but the leader of the Underground being Miles' friend Finn, or also known as the Tinkerer. Basically, her brother died to a Roxxon generator, and that is where her hate for Roxxon comes from. And this mission, we get even better Venom powers, which are what these electrical attacks are known as. And after completing this mission, well, during this mission, we're saved by Miles' uncle, the Prowler, and they basically tell each other's secret identities. And then we do get the trophy, the core of the problem, for finishing this mission. Once again, in the next mission, we have to break into an underground fortress and into this vault where we try to find some of their plans, as they have a lot of Roxxon energy stuff. And here we come face to face with Finn, and we do end up getting a trophy for doing this simple part. There is some combat, but overall it's mostly stealth, which I like. And here's that previously mentioned trophy popping. Whilst progressing the story, I got our first Venom attack trophy. Basically, there's lots of different attacks, but by doing various ones, you do get trophies. This one is for throwing one person into 3 other people, called From Downtown. In the same mission, we do get another trophy for doing a Venom punch and then a Venom dash on the same enemy, and this trophy is called Up and Over. Also, this mission has us chasing the Tinkerer, also known as Finn, across the city. This is similar to a fight in the first Spider-Man game, but this one was pretty cool. She ends up almost slamming us out until we reveal that Spider-Man is in fact Miles Morales. But on the plus side of this very emotional mission, we do get a trophy. Now just saying, I won't spoil too much of the story because this game is a pretty good story, but here is that trophy popping. This next mission does not have a trophy tied to it, but it's basically just Miles and the Prowler going out and about doing various stuff, and we're introduced to a collectible where Miles' dad and the Prowler are making a mixtape. And just to talk about collectibles, I won't mention them too much as it's pretty much just go here, press triangle on this. So I won't mention them again until we get the trophies for collecting all of each collectible later on in the Platinum video. Back to those collectibles. I decided to do various collectibles in between missions to keep this game fresh. I recommend it for this game along with any other Platinums, but as I said with the challenges, for getting the highest reward you do get trophies, and the one for the combat challenges is punching pixels. Then in this next mission, we get captured, well, Miles and Finn get captured by Roxxon, and we have to escape the lab. Here we meet with Rhino again. This time he's Roxxon Rhino, as he's given gear to completely kind of go against Miles's powers. How you beat him is by powering up these engines. It takes me forever to actually figure this out, but after finally beating him, we do get a trophy, Exploding Bulldozer. Whilst doing my in-between mission collectibles, I started doing the Traversal Challenge, and I ended up getting the ultimate trophy first try, which is Launch, Swing, and Dive. These challenges are honestly really fun, but the next mission wasn't so fun because we had to fight the Prowler, as he didn't want us to continue risking our lives to fight against Roxxon. Loki had a kind of good motive, but still we had to fight against him. Not a very difficult boss fight, but it does grant us a trophy after completing it, being family drama. The next and second to last mission has 2 trophies. One of these I believe is missable. Basically, you have a flashback of Miles and Finn submitting their invention to the Oscorp kind of science fair. And this trophy we get from interacting with the Rocket game and beating her. As you can see by the speed of which the buttons are being pressed, I'm a freaking goat at pressing square. So this trophy was very easy for me, but do make sure if you're playing for the Platinum, you get this, and Competitive Spirit. Soon enough, the flashback is completed, and we unfortunately have to go back to reality, where Finn and Miles aren't the best of friends anymore, as she's kind of out to kill us, as she feels sort of betrayed. And on top of this, she takes the Roxxon reactor that we were trying to get, but we do end up getting a trophy for completing that memory sequence, being Shared History. With this, we are officially onto the last mission. Most of this mission is just fighting the Tinkerer over and over again. This is, well, since it's the last boss fight, as I'm sure you can assume it's the most difficult. Honestly, I really enjoyed this boss fight, as it was super emotional because, you know, 2 childhood friends fighting tends to do that. But overall, it was really fun. But she decides to join our side when the Roxxon reactor that we've been telling her to disable actually ends up starting to destroy Harlem. Basically, if it goes off and activates, it will destroy the entirety of Harlem. So Miles has to absorb all the energy from this reactor, which he does, but he can't hold it in for very long. So she uses her technology to fly him up into the sky where he can release his energy, which basically shoots off in a nuke, completely killing Finn, which is very unfortunate. But at least he did not destroy the entire city. He does survive this, but he is very injured at the same time. And honestly, RIP Finn, she was not that bad of a character. And here's our trophy, Ultimate Sacrifice. Straight after completing the Platinum, I went to Cleanup, which is just to get 100%. Here I got a trophy for just scrolling to the bottom of the social feed. Not very hard at all. I mean, I'm literally showing the entire clip of me getting the trophy. But this does give us the socially acceptable trophy. And here's it popping. Whilst doing various things for 100% completion, I did clear out various hideouts, these being underground hideouts and Roxxon Labs. Here I got the Stealth Takedowns trophy. Honestly, I found these takedowns so satisfying, but luckily we do get trophies for all the various takedowns, being Stealth, Wall, and Ceiling. And here is that trophy popping. In the same hideout, I also get a trophy for just doing the mission without being detected. This one was a little difficult, but I did get it here. The next trophy I got whilst grinding collectibles. This one was kind of random. It's literally just for standing on this boat. So here's that trophy. Then I got my first collectible fully finished, being the postcards. Basically, it was a scavenger hunt for Miles for his birthday from his dad before he unfortunately passed away. And we get the Memory Lane trophy. Now, on the topic of collectibles, here is our time capsule trophy, Urban Explorers. And also, for doing all these sound cuts, we get the Deep Cuts trophy. And then, for completing all of the Roxxon Labs, we get the Under Their Noses trophy. Back to the skills I talked about at the start of the video. Here I had to craft 10 upgrades. Now basically the upgrade skills and suits are all things that we need to get. Now they cannot be all fully gotten until you beat the game on New Game Plus, which is our third stage of our platinum. Here I did get 10 upgrades for a trophy, but I will not talk about these things until we complete New Game Plus. And here is the Kit Bash trophy popping. The next two trophies I got were combat trophies that I got during this underground hideout. The first one was for doing venom attacks, which is very easy and gives you the overcharge trophy. The next one was for using a gadget, which I just upgraded, being the remote mine, which gives us the trap trophy. Now, I just wanted to quick mention that some of the things I had to do for 100% completion took a lot more time, like the Spider-Man app requests and the side quests. Here was the last app request, which I saved a pretty easy one for last, but these were kind of mini side quests that didn't have too much to do with them, but there were quite a few. But we do fortunately get a trophy for completing all those, and here's the trophy popping. Next, we were on our last underground hideout, and this one hideout gave us 4 different trophies. The first one that we got was for doing 25 wall takedowns. These ones are a lot easier in my opinion than the ceiling takedowns I do later, but we get the climbing the walls trophy for doing 25 wall takedowns. Next, I had to kill people in camo for the invisible spider trophy. Once again, very easy trophy. Now, this was also my last underground hideout, so I got the underground undone trophy for doing all of those, and the underground caches, which I found. This one was locked inside, so this was the last one I got for the salvager trophy, meaning we had all the collectibles pretty much done with. And here I did dodging light for getting spectacular on the stealth spider training challenges. On the topic of challenges, I also completed the last challenge for the first time to get a Spider Training Complete trophy. And once again, on the topic of challenges, we unlocked a kind of final test, which was to defeat the Vulture, but like a virtual Vulture. And we do also get a trophy from this, which was pretty fun. Honestly, the boss fight wasn't too bad, and we fortunately do get a trophy. And here's the trophy, Pete's First Villain. As I mentioned earlier, those side quests took quite a bit of time, so here I did my last one, which actually ended up being the last thing I needed to do for 100% completion, but doing all these side quests also nets us another trophy. So here is the trophy for doing all of these side quests, being Come at the King, and after the same mission but listening to Spider-Man's best friend go on, we get a new home for 100%ing every district. So now, guys, I had one last trophy, which was to visit the statue of Stan Lee. This trophy was the last one I decided to do back in August of 2025, as this platinum actually technically took me like 7 months, but here's the Best Fries in Town trophy. Now back to what I was saying. Basically, I grinded this game out so much in the summer of 2025, and honestly, I had such a good time. But don't ask me why, I randomly one day quit like 4 trophies away from the platinum. So this gameplay is now me back in 2026, in March to be specific, getting more trophies, so I will have live voiceover for each trophy now. And here is going to be our first trophy popping. Oh, Crime Master to complete all bonus objectives for every crime type. So basically, before we do New Game Plus, all we gotta do is some more ceiling takedowns. So I'll be getting that done next, and then we're done. Next, I got our last combat trophy for those ceiling takedowns. I decided to farm this out in Roxxon Labs as they were honestly the easiest way to farm these up, and here's the trophy. And from the rafters for getting 25 ceiling takedowns. This trophy has taken, honestly, not that long, but we are finally ready to replay the game in New Game Plus. So I don't even... With this, we are now onto our New Game Plus playthrough. I'm not going to say anything about this as it's the exact same game I've already talked much about. Basically here, when we get our suit from Peter, we can activate our suits, and this is where we purchase the last suit, which is just basically you can get it as soon as you start New Game Plus and get to this point, maybe even sooner, but this is the earliest point I know of. And here is that trophy popping. And ready for anything, for purchasing all suits. This one I thought I had to wait to get, but all I had to do was just buy it now that we're in here. Alright guys, so this next trophy is going to be for completing or getting all the skills. So you just have to hit level 23 and just the beginning for unlocking all skills. So now we have 2 more trophies to get, which the main one's just to beat the game on New Game Plus. Low key. Okay, I think this is actually the next mission, so never mind. I was gonna say I don't know how to get how to progress the story, but I think it's right here. So yeah. After completing the game, we get this aura-filled moment, and yes, I will let Past Cash explain the rest. New Game Plus story. We should get a trophy, please. Yes, plus for completing the game on New Game Plus. Okay, so our final trophy is to come over to the graveyard, just like finding Uncle Ben's grave in the first Spider-Man game. We have to find,
Hey, Ma.
I can't believe I already forgot his name, Miles' dad's
left Trinity Church.
grave. And the platinum, after 7 months.
Wish you were here, Dad.
Never give up, for paying respects at Jefferson Davis's grave in Harlem. And be yourself. The platinum trophy for Spider-Man Miles Morales. This game was supposed to be done right after I did Until Dawn, but it ended up being later. But I'd like to thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.